Well, welcome, and it's so good to see so many of you here. I did this last year. I'd only been in the job about 4 months last year when I did a presentation. It was a much smaller group. We were all still suffering from COVID. I don't think people were quite back in the swing of travel, and so it's lovely to see so many of you here. And I met a few of you earlier on from interstate, so it's great that you could all make it here to this fabulous venue. It really is great, so make the most of the day and enjoy it. I thought I would start with a bit of my story. So when I was at school, I went to school in Armidale in northern New South Wales, just the local public high school. And in those days, we didn't have quite as many choices of subjects, I have to say, and we certainly didn't in the country. And I did basically, what was 4-unit maths, biology, chemistry, English, obviously, I think some general studies or something. And then the last subject I did was economics. And I sort of threw it in there because, well, there was only so many sciences and maths you could do and so on. So I threw in some economics. And I did that for my HSC, and I did well and I enjoyed it. And then I was figuring out what to do. And actually what happened was I got offered a place in medicine at University of New South Wales in Sydney. But I was a 17-year-old country girl, and I decided I didn't want to go to the city. So we had a university in Armidale, and I thought, well, what will I do? And my first thought was, well, I can go and do science at university. But the thing that actually I didn't, I went and did economics. And the reason I did is because the teacher I had who taught me economics did such a good job of making it relevant and interesting for me, and actually engaged with me. He set me up with a conversation with someone at the university to talk about economics, and that's where I ended up heading. So the reason I tell this story is because what you do is so important in educating our young people in economics and in guiding them. Why is this important? Because, I mean, the Reserve Bank thinks it's important. We put Jackie and her team and Maddie, we put a lot of effort into helping you, educating you, helping you, supporting you. Why do we do this? Well, on one level, because we need economists, and we've done a lot of work in this, and economics sort of has been falling out of favour a little bit at university. And in the public service, certainly in the central bank, we need economists. We need these young people coming through to do the work. And if we want them, we figured we need to engage them early. So hence we need to engage at the school level. We need to get kids interested in economics when they're at school. So hopefully at least some chunk of them might go on to university and study economics. And then that will be good for us ultimately, because we'll be able to pick up some newly minted graduates. The other thing that's really important is that we need diversity in that. So we need girls as well as just boys. We need people from diverse backgrounds. I don't mean just culturally, I mean also socioeconomically. We need lots of diversity in this, because otherwise we're just getting one opinion. So this is why it's really, really important to us. And it's really important for you to teach economics in a way that is relevant and interesting, not dry, because you've all heard the jokes about economists. People always make jokes about how dry and boring economists are. It doesn't have to be that way, and that's why it's fabulous to have you all here, learning how to teach economics in an engaging and interesting way. It's actually, though, not just about us getting economists in our doors, that's all very nice, but it's actually more broadly about a public interest in having Australians well educated in economics, thinking about economics. And if any of you were here last year, I told this story about my son. So my son didn't do any economics at school. He studied, he did well at maths, and he had some sciences and so on. He ended up doing physiotherapy, and he's been working in physiotherapy for about 6 years, and he's just recently gone back to med school, postgrad med. But about a year and a half ago, it was sort of during COVID, I was having a talk with him. He'd come to visit me. He lives in the country in Grafton. And he'd come down to visit. We were sitting down having a chat on the lounge, and he's always asking me about economics. He's always asking me questions. And he said to me, "Mum, you know, I think economics should be compulsory at school." He said, and he said, "All the things I am doing now, you know, thinking about buying a house, saving, investing, weighing up my choices on how to do things, costs and benefits." He said, "This is all about economics, and people need to be educated in this stuff. This stuff is going to be important all through our lives. I really think people should be made to take economics in school." So I said, "Well, that's very nice, Dom, but I couldn't convince you to do it." Anyway, but I think he makes a really interesting point, and it reminded me that I think when I was at school, one of the first things, and it's always one of the first things the economics teacher said was, economics is about unlimited wants being met by limited means. That's always stuck with me. Now, look, I know it's more complicated than that, but at its essence, that was one of the first things I sort of learned about economics. How do we meet unlimited wants with limited needs? And it's all about making choices. It's about cost benefit, all these sorts of things. So in this, your role, I think, is really, really important. We want to support you. And the program today is all about bringing you together, providing you with the resources you need. Jackie mentioned that we've had feedback of the sorts of things that you are interested in, which is great. I think meeting other like-minded teachers, getting strength from one another, sharing ideas, I think that's all really important. Meeting our team in person and getting an understanding from them about the resources we can provide you with, and also providing them with feedback about the sorts of things that you would like to see. How can we help you further to increase the way that you engage with your students on economics and economic issues? So I will stop there, but I just wanted to again reiterate that I hope you get a lot out of today. Certainly when I was standing out there having a cup of coffee with a few of you, I got a great energy. It seems like everyone's quite excited to be here, really engaged, so I encourage you to do that. Enjoy the fabulous facilities. Take advantage of the resources you've got here, the very knowledgeable people, and don't be afraid to ask those questions that Jackie spoke about. There is no such thing as a dumb question at all. So please make sure that you take advantage of it, ask those questions. And personally, I'm really, really happy and grateful to see you all here. It just demonstrates to me that we've got an economics teaching profession here that is really keen to get involved and get engaged and get those students interested and hopefully coming up through the economic ranks. So thank you very much. Have a great day.